This is the Intrepid 211i, and it is a really cool kind of mid-size trailer if you want something that is very easy, understandable, easy to maintain, easy to work with, and it'll simply get you to some great places. I think you'll like it, but first let's start with some specs. All right, the total length for this trailer is 24 foot, 7/8 inches, but the length of the box is 24 foot, 1 inch. The width of this trailer is 96 inches or a straight up 8 foot. The freshwater capacity is 36 gallons, the gray water capacity is 36 gallons, and the black water capacity is 30 gallons. Let's talk about the weights. The total dry weight is 3,700 pounds. Now you can carry up to 3,740 pounds. The AC is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, and the furnace is a 20,000 BTU furnace. The hitch weight is 440 pounds, and the interior height is touted to be 6'5". We are squared up on all of the weights and lengths and heights and other measurements and specifications, so let's go inside this Intrepid 211i and see what kind of fun we can get into there. Let's go. Welcome to the inside of the Intrepid 211i, and let's go ahead and get the human measurements out of the way. I'm 6'4", barefoot, about 6'5" in my shoes, and as you can see, I have a little space. I'm actually standing straight up, and my hair is touching the smoke detector. So they say that the interior of this is 6'5". I dare say it's a little bit taller still. It might be 6'6", it might be 6'7". I know I am tall and I look tall in here, but most people are going to have just zero problems with the space. Let's look at arm span. Now this is a non-slide out trailer. Right here, I'm near the bathroom and near the door and all that. So my 6'6" wingspan is maybe a bit much for flapping my wings here, but it's really no problem. From a comfort standpoint, so far so good. The interior is a light, modern interior. It has some very current looking wood stain, wood grain. Everything's real solid. We'll go through some of the construction in a little bit, but how about I check out this real neat space I have right behind me, and I think that you'll see this very useful. Now you may have noticed in that first shot I didn't close the door. It is quite hot here at our Houston dealership, hot and humid today, but the light was a bit much, so we had to change some camera settings, so I closed the door for that. We'll open it up. It will affect some of the sound coming in. You'll hear some street noise. Hopefully it's not too bothersome. To this space back here, take a look at it. It's pretty open. It's a great place just to work on things, set things. It's a great surface. Make of it what you will, but this area on the wall is designed to be your entertainment center, if you will. There's a wall backer for hanging a television. I would go ahead and use a TV mount that I could pull out and articulate and move around for best viewing. Wall backer here, connections for your satellite or your park cable, 110 plugs, and then right over here I have my convenience panel, if you will. It has your light switches for outside and then inside. I'm going to flip that switch real quick, and that gets the main cabin lights throughout here. There are a few others that aren't. Now most of these lights have a push button right in the middle, so that is also a very usable light in other places, here or in other places. You have your awning extend and retract, and then you have 3 more lighted switches so that you know what's going on if you don't have your eyes on it. Like your gas water heater and your electric water heater. Is it the 2 water heaters? No, it's the same water heater. It's just what way do you want to use it? If you want to use it off electricity or gas. It's a 6-gallon water heater. And then you have your water pump switch here. Again, those are on lighted switches. So if you're wondering if you left it on, you can just look for the lights. You have your tank monitors here, battery monitor, fresh, black, and gray tank. I want to remind you that your fresh and gray tanks are both 36 gallons each, and your gray tank is 30 gallons. Pretty fantastic amount of water if you wanted to go out there for a while, maybe not at a full hookup type of location. Let's look at the storage down here, and you'll find really deep cubbies or shelves here, and then a little bit different here. You have another one, but down below it's blocked off. Why? because you have equipment down there. That should be the back of your water heater underneath there. If you need access, you can just remove that panel, but it is not a place for storage. I'm going to close these and I'm going to talk about this place right here. I did mention this right at the transition here. This space is, I like it. It's unique, and you have another flat surface here for anything that you might want. And then look at these cubbies, perfect for shoes or something you might want to reach into the camper to grab from the outside. Books, toys for the kids, toys for your dog, you name it. Including a little space down here if you want to slide some shoes in there whenever you are going in or going out. Right at the door here, I do have the fire extinguisher. That's one of your safety devices. Right above me is the smoke detector. I'll try to point out the other safety devices as we go through this. I love this area, but it's time to move on to the dinette. This is obviously the dinette, and I think this is a great couples coach kind of dinette scenario. It's very understandable, and it really is wide enough, tall enough, deep enough for what most people will need. Let me go ahead and sit down. Again, a larger human being, but let me sit down and let's see the fit. I do have long legs, so you'll notice that my legs and my knees come past this a little bit, even all the way up to the poles, if you will. My feet do hit the poles, but not everyone, fits my dimensions. It's a nice usable space. This is me on one side of two adults, perfectly comfortable. If you needed to scooch over and allow for one more booty, I think it would work, particularly if it's like mom and dad and some kids, or grandparents and some kids, or maybe a little person like PJ comes along. Sure, you got enough space. This is a rather solid table. Is it a little bit wiggly? Well, yes, but not as bad as some that I've seen. Yes, because it's still on a kind of compression push-in pull system, more sturdy because there's two of them versus the one, in which case those can get kind of wiggly and fiddly. This is fine. It's a great texture. It doesn't have seams at the edges, so you're not gonna have water, moisture get down in there and cause swelling and separation. A great window with the screen. All these windows, except for the emergency egress window, are sliding style windows with a great screen. If you need to work at this location, you have a 110 plug right above you here. And then one thing I mentioned, or one thing I noticed, is that there are two lights here. There's one there and one here, which makes for more even lighting. Sometimes these spaces can get rather dark if there's only one light in the middle. They thought of that. There are two. There's storage underneath these bench seats, and I'll roll in some B-roll over there. This one is, actually they're both this side and the other side are very open. There's no equipment in there whatsoever. So let's talk about what is above me. As you can imagine, the dinette does turn into a sleeping space. So let's say that you are a couple bringing on the kids, or a couple bringing on the grandkids, or a friend is coming to visit you at the campsite and hang out for a night. It does turn into a dinette. Drop this table down onto those bumpers, move the cushions, and it is 68 inches long by 36 inches wide. Pretty useful for most people, average size and shorter. The cabinetry up here, again, it's a really nice, sturdy, solid wood, and it's just a very open, easy to manage space. It's about 10 inches deep and about a foot tall, and it's the same on both sides. Now, you don't have a full pass-through as you do in so many other campers, and part of that reason is because you have your entertainment head unit. If you come from like the stereo world, you have your audio equipment there. It's Bluetooth ready, AM, FM, stereo. It does have an HDMI input and USB input as well. You have two speakers in the roof inside, you have speakers on the outside, so it looks to me like a two-zone system. Above me, I do have a GE air conditioner, and it is a small trailer, so it's not a ducted unit. It's your fairly typical RV style unit, but you can direct the air using these tabs on the sides to make sure that one area or the other area gets what it needs, or just to even out the airflow. Let's look at the master bedroom area. We are now entering the bedroom area at the front of this trailer, and you're going to notice it's a near full-size queen. It's not a full 60 by 80, it's a 60 by 76 queen size mattress. It's pretty good. I think that the space still looks very open, still feels very open, even though this is not a slide out scenario. This is a very Intrepid-y look. Most of their current models have exactly this front end with the nice cabinetry, the nice back wall and whatnot. So let me go through it real quick. To the cabinets in this front area. On both sides, you have these side cabinets, and they are identical in a way, I guess, flip mirror image. You have a hanging bar at the top. It is a pretty deep and tall cabinet, so you have a lot of options there. If you wanted to build in shelves, you could pretty easily. You have a flat surface on both sides. There aren't plugs up here, but there are some hidden plugs, if you will, not terribly hidden, but they're in another location. Here we have really just a real big shelf that actually is open all the way across. Now you're going to notice it does get a little bit more shallow towards the back because that's following the curve of the front of the trailer. I get that you lose some storage that way, so it's still a pretty good storage space for stacking clothes or what have you, but you want that curve because it sure makes the trailer tow a little bit better through the air versus having so much wind resistance. If you look up here, again, that nice kind of front wall, but underneath here, we do have a push button light as you do elsewhere in the trailer. And on that side and on this side, there's a little cubby behind these side cabinets. There's a horizontal platform, perfect for putting your phone, putting your books, CPAP machine, and there's outlets for 110 and USB devices on both sides. It makes it a very easy, useful space. There is one more thing here, and that is storage underneath the bed. Let me lift this up for you. Now, you will notice it has gas props to assist you in lifting, but also it makes it, just easy to work in that space because they hold it up. It's finished out. It's a big vacuous space to fill with travel stuff. Not much more to say there, so let's put this down. You'll notice wonderful windows on both sides. Again, the sliding window on this side with the screen, and then on the other side, you have your emergency egress window. It's more of an awning style window. Again, easy to work with. If you've seen emergency egress windows, this is a pretty common thing. You have this tab, and if you're using it in normal circumstances, and you want airflow, you just push that out, get your airflow. And if you need to leave the camper, you pull this so the screen pops out towards you, and then you just push this awning style window all the way out, and you dive or slide if you prefer head first or feet first, that's up to you. Just get out and then deal with any abrasions you get on the outside of the trailer. We are now at the kitchen, and I just want to show you one more time. It's truly a good size for most people because sure enough, you can bonk your head if you're 6'5" in this trailer, but elsewhere, you got some headroom. This is the cabinetry. Again, I really like it. It is solid. It has a good modern look, good warm feel, and I get it. It's kind of neutral all throughout, but that's inviting someone like me to add color as I want to, where I want to, throughout the trailer, whether it be in the bedroom area, dinette, or kitchen. This is still nice, solid fill-in stuff. This first cabinet is a nice cabinet. It's about 1 foot deep. It's about 1.5 feet tall. It's open right here where the doors come together. And it does, you're going to see my hand kind of disappear here because it goes back here a little bit to about there. So there's more depth than you can see, more than meets the eye. It's a transformer. Okay, this is obviously your standard microwave. I believe it's a GE unit, sure enough. And then you have a low profile vent hood with a light and a fan. And then if you'll take a note, if you'll note by looking, this nice backsplash here adds a little personality and character. 3-burner stove. It doesn't have a lid. I kind of like lids because it turns into more countertop, but very nice stove. You do have lit handles. It's a little bit bright today, so you might not be able to see. Let me see if I can turn them on and off. Maybe you'll be able to tell, maybe you won't. but it makes a great night light for the cabin as well. An oven in this size trailer, that is not the most common thing. And this is a nice size camping trailer size oven for your baking needs. Down below, the outlet for your forced air furnace, and that will warm this place up nicely. Coming across, let's look back at this sink. Again, great amount of countertop space, and it's got a little bit of depth. If you wanted to set up some equipment like a coffee pot, there is a 110 outlet right here underneath, along with push button light. Back to the sink. Nice cover. And a nice metal sink, and it has good depth. I mean, you could really use this for pots, cooking, you name it. And look at the gooseneck faucet. I like the kind of brushed black look and feel of it. It's a nice contemporary, modern, and warm look and feel. I think it's going to be a good option to use in here. Let's go down below to a little bit of storage. Two large cabinet doors reveal two large cabinets. Now, there is, again, it's more of a one cabinet with two doors. It's got all the depth here with a little bit of plumbing behind the sink and a little bit of space underneath to account for the sink, but everything else is wide open. So whether it be pots, pans, just cleaning supplies, cooking supplies, even if you need to store some other things like clothes in there, you could work it out. Maybe a bin system or, you know, cubby sort of thing. Let's come over to the refrigerator. This is another GE unit, and you'll see that it has this locking system. So when you're rumbling down the road, these don't fly open and you end up with food on your floor whenever you come in at your campsite. So let's open up and let's see how deep this is. And it is rather deep because it is a 12-volt compressor style refrigerator. Now, I get that so many people are used to 2- and 3-way refrigerators, but these compressor style refrigerators cool off faster than those, and they use less electricity by far. If you're on electricity mode on those, comparatively, this is more economical, more efficient. So you get more space, faster cool off, and if you're comparing apples to apples on an electrical mode, this is the way to go. So I do like them. Big refrigerator, easy to use, more food. There's something to be said for that. Now, down below the refrigerator, I have an auto detect converter. Now, I really like the auto detect converters. I have kind of the previous generation in my trailer where I had to, when I switched over from your standard RV battery, I switched over to lithium ion. I had to go in and kind of pull a panel out, find a little dip switch and push it with a screwdriver, and then it would charge the lithium battery the right way to protect the battery. This does all the thinking for you. So if you decide to start out with a standard lead acid battery, an AGM or something like that, and then down the road move up to lithium ion, then you're good to go and the thinking is done for you. You also have in this converter the breakers and fuses, breakers to handle your 110 circuits and the fuses to handle your 12-volt circuits. On the floor level, right between the converter and the bathroom door, you have another detector. It's the carbon monoxide detector and the propane detector. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3 pieces of safety equipment in this trailer to protect you, your loved ones while you travel. Let's go up the wall a little bit. And we have the thermostat for the air conditioner and the furnace. It's pretty much like your home unit. It's a GE thermostat, so it programs the same way you would at home. So easy to understand. And that brings us to door number 1, 2, door number 2. Let's see what's behind it. I think it's time to show you the space in the bathroom of this Intrepid 211i. And it's not the largest trailer, so I wouldn't expect the largest of bathrooms. The question oftentimes starts with, just how big is it? Well, 6'4" and somewhat in need of a change of lifestyle. I fit okay regardless. It does help that there is a sunroof, a skylight if you will, right in the shower. because the floor of the shower is raised up the shower pan. You'll notice that in the corners there are no seams, so this backing is one piece. I have a little extra wingspan in here because this bar is curved. Just pull that around and it's all good and well. Handheld kind of water miser shower head where you can turn on and off the flow of water, which is fantastic if you're trying to be efficient with your water usage. Hot and cold, shower pan is it is what it is. Right over here is not just a vent, but a power fan. So if you needed to bring air in or out and vent this space, and actually if the door's open, this has enough air movement, it can pull air all the way through the trailer. So this is a great power fan. Over to this side, and I'm going to step down. Over to this side, I have a mirrored medicine cabinet with 2 levels of shelving inside and an open level of shelving on the bottom. A decent enough size sink with a GFCI protected outlet and some storage down below the sink. All right, for the sake of understanding, I'm going to take this uncomfortable moment in time to sit down and show you the leg room and shoulder room of the seated position in the bathroom. Here you are. So, while I think deep thoughts about life, notice that my knee does in fact hit this wall. Now, my femur is longer than your standard femur, so you may not have a problem, but a slight shimmy in the counterclockwise direction and you will be fine. So I do think it's a very useful space, even from a shoulder standpoint. I don't have anything I want to hit my head on above me, no shelving or what have you, so it is an understandable, usable space. And there you go. Gentlemen, you might have an interest in, will this work for you? Yes. It is now time to go outside and see what kind of features and equipment we have out there on the Intrepid 211i. Let's go. On the outside of the Intrepid 211i, I want to start right here at the Lippert solid step. It is one of my favorite steps just because it's very durable, very solid feeling, and it's, let's face it, it's easy. Let me show you. It's on a hinge that just allows it to fold up. You can adjust these legs separately if you're on uneven terrain, and using that handle, we can simply latch it into place for travel and close the door. Good to go. While I close this door, you'll notice that it is a full height screen. Pretty standard equipment, but what isn't necessarily standard is the resistance I feel on this door that allows it to stay in most any position. So a light to moderate wind isn't going to slam the door on you. In fact, we're in a breeze right now. And that friction hinge is a nice feature. Handle that you would expect. And let me look on the front here just a little bit. I have an outlet on the back, an awning, I think it's a 13-foot awning, and it does have an LED light strip that runs all the way across. 15-inch wheels, and they are aluminum wheels. And if I get down here, it is a fairly standard leaf spring system. I do not have a problem with a standard leaf spring system because they have proven themselves for generations upon generations. They're easy to work on, they go anywhere, they're pretty robust. So really, for a trailer that is meant to be simply a very usable trailer, it is a simple, very usable solution. So I give it a plus from that perspective. Are there more modern suspensions out there that are maybe more robust, have more travel, maybe more cushion? Yes, there are. Are there independent suspension for your off-roading needs? Yes, but I don't think that this trailer was meant for really off-roading and overlanding purposes, though if you're mindful of your travels, you could probably do it. Let's go this way. I did forget to mention right before I came around the corner that there's a gas port right down here for your extra gas-powered appliances, whether it be maybe your Blackstone griddle or a stove of some sort. Your standard square tube bumper, which is great for storing your sewer hose. And come around here, we have the back of your gas electric water heater, again, 6 gallons, spare tire on the same rim that you have on the ground on all 4 tires on this trailer. Up at the top, and this might be pretty bright today, but up at the top, it is pre-wired for a backup camera. It is a piece of equipment I really appreciate and really like, and it's super easy to add if it's pre-wired. It's almost plug and play. So if something you'd like to look into, it's ready for it. Let's come around the side. On the back side, again, it's a very understandable trailer because, well, you don't have a lot of high-tech stuff. It's more normal things that have proven themselves across the industry for a long time, including an outdoor shower that has hot and cold, a handheld sprayer. And then you have freshwater connection, city water connection, and a black tank flush. We do like our black tank flushes. If we go down here, we find a single outlet for both the gray water and the black water tanks. You have a pool for the gray water, a pool for the black water, and you might be able to, in that shot, also see that we have manual stabilizer jacks. Again, it's not a high frills kind of trailer, but everything is a robust system that has proven itself through the years, through many thousands and maybe millions of miles across the industry. So I would trust those to stabilize. Remember, it's not for leveling your trailer, but in stabilization capacity, they work very well. Now, if I move back, you have your 30 amp inlet to charge and power your systems. And this is your satellite or park cable inlet, if you will, for that television, should you decide to mount one in the back wall of that trailer. Coming back to the front, we have one side of your pass-through storage. I'm gonna open that up. I like these latches, they're very easy. Now, they also are kind of a slam latch. You've probably heard that term, slam latch. They just close, latch, and it's very positive. Another nice thing is they have these magnetic hold opens. You don't have a little plastic lever situation. It is finished out, and it's obviously quite deep at being all the way through. So store whatever you want, those chairs, bins of any kind, you're good to go. There's a light here, there's a light on the other side for access in the dark. So we're gonna close that, again, slam latch, and we'll come around to the tongue. At the tongue of the trailer, let me start right here at this little port right here. This is the Furrion solar charge. You may have seen exterior ports for solar panels that look a little bit different than this, but Furrion has a very nice connector that kind of locks in a little bit better. And so a better connection, maybe a more solid connection, I do like it. Now, if you already have a folding solar panel and it has the standard style plug, there are adapters. Now, if you have a Furrion piece of equipment, then you're good to go. Either way, you can get the right connection to make that work beautifully and charge those batteries. This is a powder coated frame from the tongue all the way back throughout underneath the trailer. So it is durable, it is strong, and it is meant to resist the elements. So good to go. It looks nice too. Back here, I have enough space for, I would say 2 normal lead acid or AGM style RV batteries, but you know, you could always change to lithium ion. My caution there is lithium ion are a bit more of an investment. With all that power comes great responsibility. Aside from that, I would get a lock box if I'm keeping my lithium ion on the outside, or I would move their location to the inside somehow, because that better protects them not only from theft or damage, but also from the weather, because lithium ion doesn't tend to like to charge very well below freezing temperatures. And if your cabin is anywhere above freezing temperatures, then not only can you use the power in the batteries, but you can recharge them better as well. In this case, there is space for 2 20-pound propane tanks. Pretty standard, and that's a fair bit of propane for this equipment on here. This is a Lippert electric jack, and they are a bit of a workhorse in the industry. They're very reliable. I don't have much more to say about them other than the fact they do a fantastic job. If you ever needed to manually override this and crank the jack up and down, there's a little rubber cover right here for access to a crank port, and it's good to go. This ball is a 2 5/16 ball, so you're set up for very strong connection to your tow vehicle. You do have a diamond plate rock guard on the front, and once you're back past the curve of the nose of this trailer, the flat part of the roof is a walk-on roof, which is fantastic for access up there if you want to check your sills, your other equipment, or maybe you're intrepid enough to take a lawn chair and maybe sun yourself or go to the race or some other event and have a better view. Let's go around the front of the trailer. We don't have much more to talk about on this trailer because it's a solid thing with just anything you need and not much else that you don't. But I do have the other side of the pass-through storage ready to go for you. Again, great storage on the front and built well with pretty good components. Now the chassis I mentioned, the frame I mentioned is a steel, is powder coated, so it's very strong. The walls, the front, the back, and the sides are aluminum framed, and the roof is a true walk-on roof. I wanted to mention that. There is Azdel in the wall, which is a fantastic moisture barrier. It's kind of become more than just an industry buzzword, but really an industry miracle type of component. I mean, it's really done wonders for people through the past few years as being integrated into the walls and protecting them from water intrusion, from expansion of any kind of elements inside the wall. It's really good. So vacuum bonded Azdel layered wall, good stuff. And that, I do believe, brings us to the end of the Intrepid 211i trailer tour. And I hope that you see it for what it is. It is a, like I said, a pretty basic, simple, no frills, but solid components, solid build trailer for you. Maybe a couple's trailer, easy to tow. It weighs what did I say? 3,700 pounds, 3,700 pounds. Check the video description down below to get the number correct. I'll have it down there. But other than that, it is, to me, a simple, solid, easy decision. However, I always encourage you to see one in person wherever you can, get in it and get a sense of the space and how it would work for you. We do have them at our Princess Craft Houston location, so we invite you to check us out online or come down here in person and give us a shout. It has been a pleasure showing you the Intrepid 211i trailer, and we'll see you next time. And you can also just kind of rotate. That was my knee. But I can't replicate it, so maybe it wasn't. But a slight little shimmy in a counterclockwise direction, and you should be able to handle this fine. Now for you gentlemen out there, yeah, I think you can manage this.